國際機場近期嘅事故經過同政府當局聯繫，同埋同交通事務委員會主席陳恒鑌議員商量之後呢，我哋會邀請交通事務委員會出席下次嘅例會，即係成為一個聯席會議啦，討論國際機場三跑系統啟用前嘅準備工作，同埋應對突發事故嘅機制。請問各位委員對上述安排有冇意見？冇，多謝。咁啊，跟住議程第3項呢，就係香港迪士尼園度假區最新嘅進度報告啦。咁我哋請官員同埋迪士尼園嘅代表出席。歡迎楊局長。Welcome, Mr. Moriarty. Welcome. Yeah, thank you. 沈專員各位，多謝政府同迪士尼園嘅代表出席。首先，局長係咪你介紹下？
首先同大家簡介一下啦。
各位等一陣至撳掣嚇，我就同各位講撳掣至撳啦嚇，唔該晒。
好啊，同大家簡介一下香港迪士尼喺2023財政年度，即係由2022年嘅10月初去到2023年9月底嘅營運情況。香港迪士尼咧喺2023財政年度嘅頭5個月，即係由2022年嘅10月咧，去到2023年嘅2月咧嘅經營環境咧，嗰陣時係仍然受到疫情嘅影響，但係隨住跨境旅遊咧喺2023年2月開始復常，香港旅遊業亦都開始全速復甦，香港迪士尼嘅營運表現強勁。綜合整個財政年度嘅表現咧，第一樣本地入場人次咧係再創新高，加上非本地入場人次嘅復甦情況呢，亦都較香港整體旅客訪港人次為佳，帶動全年入場人次呢係按年上升87%，去到640萬。第二，總收入按年呢係飆升156%，喺扣除利息、稅項、折舊同埋攤銷之後嘅淨虧損呢，亦都按年大幅改善呢83%。值得留意嘅咧係，由於香港迪士尼嘅財政年度咧係截至每年嘅9月底，因此今次匯報嘅2023財政年度嘅數字咧係未能充分反映香港迪士尼喺跨境旅遊復甦之後，特別係去年11月全球首個魔雪奇緣世界開幕後嘅業務表現。上星期香港迪士尼已經宣布，如單以2023歷年分析，即係話喺2023成年去分析咧，香港迪士尼全年已經錄得純利，而2024年1月至3月嘅按季收入同埋淨利潤呢，亦都創開園以嚟嘅紀錄。事實上，香港迪士尼能夠喺疫情之後迅速轉虧為盈，亦都有強勁嘅業務勢頭呢，係對香港旅遊業發展嘅一個好大嘅鼓舞。香港迪士尼嘅行政總裁莫偉瑩先生呢，稍後會更加仔細咁同大家介紹。香港迪士尼係香港其中一個好重要嘅旅遊景點，除咗提升香港對區內旅客嘅吸引力，多年嚟呢，其實亦都為本港帶嚟可觀嘅經濟收益。累計嘅增加值呢係達到1296億港元，亦都帶嚟咗大量嘅就業機會，培育款待、工程、創意同埋設計等多個領域嘅專才。與此同時，香港迪士尼呢亦都致力服務本地嘅社群。我亦都特別欣悉咧，香港迪士尼致力推動文化、娛樂、體育同埋旅遊嘅融合工作。例如，剛剛喺1月舉行咗一場迪士尼經典音樂 Live 朗朗領銜演奏，之後喺4月同埋5月咧，同香港芭蕾舞蹈團呢係繼續展出合作一個推出 Stellar Lu 夢想起舞吧嘅表演，亦都將會喺今年11月咧係舉行 10K Weekend 2024。更加首度加入喺全新魔雪奇緣世界裏邊暢跑嘅新體驗。政府對香港迪士尼未來嘅業務發展同埋長期嘅發展潛力呢係充滿信心。展望未來，我哋期望香港迪士尼呢會鞏固其作為香港標誌性同埋地標性旅遊景點嘅角色，繼續推出新嘅節目同埋活動， 包括有序推展跨年擴建同埋發展計劃嘅餘下項目，亦都為賓客咧係帶嚟更高質量嘅體驗，亦都同旅遊業界咧嘅伙伴咧喺旅遊推廣同埋吸引旅客訪港方面咧係持續緊密合作。我而家咧請Michael 咧同大家介紹一下香港迪士尼嘅營運情況，然後咧我哋會回答委員嘅問題。Michael, over to you, please.
Mr. Moriarty, your turn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you may know already, during calendar year 2023, Hong Kong Disneyland Resort turned profitable. Not only have we emerged from COVID triumphant, but we have turned the corner financially. We have entered a new era for Hong Kong Disneyland, and I am extremely proud of all that we've accomplished in the lead up to our 20th anniversary, achieving profitability in the calendar year 23, and our rebound in visitors outpacing the overall Hong Kong tourism market. As I mentioned, we began to see a quick recovery as soon as travel restrictions were lifted. Our guests returned with a newfound excitement, and our business momentum has been positive ever since. While local attendance remains strong, all the unique offerings and strategies we put in place during COVID have given us a boost to our non-local attendance. The orange line shows Hong Kong Disneyland's rebound in non-local attendance, while the green line represents the recovery in total visitor arrivals to Hong Kong as compared to 2018 levels. You can see that since March 2023, we have enjoyed an accelerated recovery, and that our overall recovery remains well above the market, even before the launch of the World of Frozen and throughout 2023. The World of Frozen, without a doubt, has further supported our success. And the love of the Frozen franchise around the world and in Asia has kept our momentum growing even higher. And the strong momentum continues. The first quarter of 2024 was our most successful quarter ever, achieving record levels of revenue, EBITDA, and net income. Now, these records are not the result of just one thing, however. They are the result of our amazing cast members, the power of the Disney brand, which all come together to provide amazing experiences and creating lasting memories for our guests. Through a series of record-breaking achievements fueled by creativity and innovation, including a new signature offerings, including the reimagined Castle of Magical Dreams, our nighttime spectacular Momentous, and most recently, World of Frozen, we have become a draw card for Hong Kong tourists. According to a Hong Kong Tourism Board survey, Hong Kong Disneyland Resort is the #1 paid attraction in Hong Kong among overnight visitors, and the third overall tourist destination, only behind TST and the Peak in 2023. Also, according to the same survey, among our visitors, 52% said that Hong Kong Disneyland is their main reason for coming to Hong Kong. And we're more than just a driver for tourism. We're a major economic driver, job creator, and become a part of the social fabric of Hong Kong. In terms of economic impact, over the past 18 years, total direct and indirect value generated by Hong Kong Disneyland amounted to nearly $130 billion. In terms of job creation, the resort has created over 290,000 jobs cumulatively. And as of right now, we have over 9,000 cast members. We are a part of the community we live and work in by collaborating with NGOs to make a difference right here. Our Disney volunteers have contributed nearly 120,000 hours delivering happiness, support, and comfort to the community. And last year, we provided more than 100,000 complimentary theme park tickets to underserved communities. In fiscal 23, Hong Kong Disneyland delivered a solid financial performance across the board with strong growth compared to the prior year, despite the lingering effects of the pandemic. Local guest affinity for the resort continued to grow. With fiscal 23, we enjoyed historic high local attendance, including a record high attendance among young adults and students from the Disney Youth Program. Overall attendance grew 87% to 6.4 million, and total hotel utilization for the year was 77%. We saw a strong rebound among our non-local guests too, particularly those from mainland China in the second half of the year. And in 2023, the resort welcomed its 100 millionth guest since opening. Our guest spending has significantly improved, with in-park spending growing up to 54% compared to prior year. We also posted double-digit growth in guest spending when compared to pre-COVID levels. The growth is driven by our strategies delivered over the past few years, bringing elegant and sophisticated products that are elevating and completing our guest experience. Our guests are spending more, and the vast majority, over 90%, are saying their Disney experience is good value for money. So, despite the impact of the pandemic during fiscal 23, our revenue grew 156% to $5.7 billion. EBITDA improved 207% to $924 million, and we closed the gap on net loss by 83% to $356 million. As I mentioned before, we were profitable during calendar 2023, and this chart shows you that the fiscal year is really a story about pre- and post-COVID. You can see that we turned it around and became profitable in the second half of the fiscal year, which is from April to September. And as I mentioned to you before, Q1 24 was a record quarter, and the launch of the world's first and largest World of Frozen has contributed to fuel our positive business momentum and profitability. In addition to profitability, another key milestone is that the resort has fully repaid the revolver facility funded by the Walt Disney Company in December and has not drawn on it since. As you can see here, the World of Frozen represents our finest example of exceptional storytelling that Disney is known for. It is rich with captivating stories, state-of-the-art technology, beloved characters like Anna, Elsa, and Olaf, and of course, the enchanting music and the unique Hong Kong landscape. We also joined forces with local art and culture groups, bringing the best of Disney and local talents to our guests. These shows enhance both the overall park experience and the brand image of both. We have established a new Christmas holiday tradition in recent years with Disney Live and Concert Series. And for the first time, we collaborated with world-famous pianist Long Long and the talented string quartet for an exclusive show in front of our beautiful castle. Over the past few years, our partnerships have spanned across the Hong Kong Philharmonic Orchestra, Hong Kong Ballet, Hong Kong's Children Choir, and many top local talents. Our collaboration with the Academy of Performing Arts has also grown from strength to strength. We are also big supporters of Hong Kong's sports development. Our flagship mega event, Disney's 10K Weekend, is popular not only among locals but visitors from around the region. We are proud to say that this year, the Magical Run will be running through the Kingdom of Arendelle for the first time. We are also champion sports development by rolling out youth sports training initiatives and supporting those in need. As part of our commitment to nurture talent in the area, our signature annual design competition, the Disney Imaginations Design Competition, was extended to youth in the Greater Bay Area this year. And once free of COVID restrictions, we resumed our large-scale community service programs. We supported the Strive and Rise program and many other NGOs. The resort also joined hands with local hospitals, bringing hope and happiness to young patients with a Disney touch. Inclusion is a value that goes back to Walt Disney's core philosophy when he first dreamed up the idea for Disneyland. As champions of that vision, we work with NGOs to bring sign language and theatrical interpretation into our highly popular shows and scholarships to young artists with disabilities. Environmental conservation is also a part of the way we work. Hong Kong Disneyland Resort is already home to the largest single solar panel site in Hong Kong, and we are continuing to grow. All of this, the milestones, the achievements, the community work, cannot happen without the support of our amazing cast members. Since opening in 2005, we have remained one of Hong Kong's largest employers in the tourism and entertainment industry. In fact, more than 2,000 of our cast members have been with us for more than 10 years. In March, we held our first ever service celebration to recognize these cast members. We feel lucky to work with the best team in the business and get to create magical moments like these for our guests and for each other every day. Again, I want to thank all the members for their support through the years. As we enter our 20th anniversary next year, we look forward to shining even brighter as Hong Kong's beacon of tourism. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. 各位可以撳掣啦。非常踴躍咁我讀一次先啦林筱魯議員、何敬康、林健鋒、江玉歡、陳祖恒、梁希、 周文港、陳紹雄、田北辰、容海恩、李梓敬、陸頌雄、嚴剛、姚柏良、李維宏，仲有冇15個？呢16啦嚇。各位每人4分鐘。周文港已經喺度啦。周浩鼎嚇，每人4分鐘。而家林筱魯議員先。
多謝主席。首先恭喜迪士尼樂園啦，即係基本上喺過去1年都能夠即係有一個好明顯嘅業務上邊嘅反彈咧咁樣，咁呢個係值得開心嘅。咁但係無論如何，因為始終都係蝕緊錢嚇，咁呢個都係老問題。咁我想針對咧就係一啲個營運數字上邊咧，就我想睇睇呢。嗱如果我哋睇翻嗰個流動資產咧。其實喺如果我哋睇翻個歷史嘅發展過程，咁10年咁計，2014年咁去到19年咁25年咧喺個上升軌嗰度，股東權益亦都喺個上升軌嗰度。咁2019之後呢，呢5年呢就落入咗個下降軌嚇。咁流動資產雖然係稍為好翻少少，即係由972唔係9億7200去翻10億。11億唔夠咁樣，咁但係股東權益嗰方面嚟講呢，我暫時睇唔到有一個即係向翻上升嗰個趨勢喺度。咁我問題呢就係、其實有冇一個未來5年嘅一個大概喺流動資產收益同埋股東權益嗰方面嘅一個估算呢？咁或者係嗰、個願景係如何呢？咁多謝主席。
主席，或者我講兩句先，然後請即係樂園嗰邊去講一講啦。我諗過去嗰幾年，大家會見到嗰個19年之後嘅情況，主要都係因為疫情啦。咁當你冇一個即係入樂園嘅人數嘅時候，如大部分係本地嘅時候，本地嘅旅客當然即係本地入園去玩嘅人，當然佢嘅消費會比係旅客入嚟係會少一啲啦，咁自然佢嗰個即係嗰個收入嗰年就會蝕錢啦，或者唔能夠賺到錢。當佢蝕錢嘅時候，你個股東嘅權益一定會跟住降嘅，因為如果唔係你嗰個就會即係平衡唔到。咁所以呢個都係因為嗰個疫情嘅情況咧，類似有呢個咁嘅情況出現。咁即係話大家都會見到樂園嗰邊已經講咗喺今年2024年第一季，佢哋都會係最好嘅一季嘅時候咧。咁我相信即係暫時嚟講，我哋都有信心佢今年個會做得好嘅。咁佢做得好嘅時候，希望即係嗰個數字慢慢會有盈餘嘅時候，嗰個股東權益可以增加翻。或者我睇下樂園嗰邊會唔會有嘢補充嚇。
Anything to add, Mr. Moriarty?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, as you mentioned, 2014 to 2019 were upward trends in terms of liquidity, which has been very helpful. I think even now, as we emerge from COVID, we're very happy with the trajectory and the momentum that we're seeing right now. As we mentioned before, during the second half of the fiscal year, we were positive, contributing to positive retained earnings in that period. But also what we're seeing right now is continuing to outpace the growth in Hong Kong's overall tourism recovery. I think that combined with our continued momentum and profitability with Frozen provides us with a lot of optimism for the future.
主席有冇一個簡單嘅跟進咧？即係雖然佢冇答到我，即係有冇未來5年嘅一啲嘅估算啦。咁但係或者我反翻轉頭嚟問，即係從營運個角度嚟講，喺未來一段日子有睇唔睇到一啲咩特別嘅負面因素，想喺呢個會裏面同我哋分享嘅咧？多謝主席。
喺樂園嗰邊。
Mr. Moriarty.
Madam Chair, when we visit the markets, whether it be Southeast Asia, mainland or North Asia, we see very positive signs for Hong Kong's tourism. I think that the overall recovery is very much tied to travel to Hong Kong, whether it be air flight capacity or what we've seen positively in terms of cross-boundary traffic in the GBA area with greater access points, high-speed rail, the bridge, of course. all providing positive benefits. So I think that where Hong Kong might be slower than other markets in recovering from a tourism standpoint, I think we look at it as a tailwind right now, and that Hong Kong will recover.
何敬康議員。
Madam President, I got a cool question, so I'm going to dig right into it. I'm very excited that Hong Kong Disneyland has recorded a very good first quarter, 2024, having record new net income, EBITDA, and revenue, largely attributable to the world of Frozen. Could you tell me the revenue breakdown between Frozen and all the other older attractions, and how do you see the older attraction perform in the next few years, given that Frozen is going to take the lead? The other thing is that could you also give us a teaser about expansion plans in terms of upcoming attractions? Another thing is that I can see that per capita spending has increased significantly year on year. What are the plans to further increase per capita spending in the next few years? And could you also tell me the breakdown between local tourists, tourists from mainland China, as well as international tourists? And also give us a financial outlook in the next 5 years, and also debt repayment and dividend plans. The other thing that I'm also very interested in is the Disney cruise that we all know that Singapore landed the Disney cruise and has signed a 5-year contract with the Singapore government. And the question back to Secretary Yeung is that, are there any plans to get it back in 5 years' time, number one? Number two is that, having said that, during these 5 years, are there going to be any synergies to work with Disney Cruise to either bring cruise members on board to Hong Kong, as well as other kind of synergy plans with Hong Kong Disneyland? I guess that's it, Madam President.
主席，或者我先答咗嗰個郵輪嗰個 part 先，因為其他數字我交俾樂園嗰邊答。
好啊。
郵輪嗰邊點解我哋會答呢？因為其實管理公司嗰邊咧，主要係負責樂園嘅運作啦。咁喺嗰個郵輪，即係迪士尼郵輪嗰邊咧，係即係喺成個集團裏邊係另外一部分。咁我哋一路都有同即係唔同嘅郵輪公司去傾嘅。咁當然所有對香港發展有利嘅，我哋都希望可以帶到落嚟。咁呢啲討論我哋會繼續落去嘅嚇。
Mr. Moriarty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As it relates to the overall revenue for the world of Frozen, I think it's important to recall that our recovery started to outpace the market as soon as travel restrictions were removed, and we became profitable even before the world of Frozen was opened up. Certainly the world of Frozen has added to and contributed to continuing momentum going forward, as well as profitability. As it relates to the specific breakdown of revenue, as you know, we have one ticket price every day for our guests, and it's not necessarily broken down by Frozen. That being said, Frozen has had a significant impact on our park, and it continues to do so. As it relates to expansion, you might recall that Frozen was just one part of a multi-year expansion that the shareholders had agreed to and lawmakers here had approved, including Moana, Ant-Man and the Wasp, the Castle of Magical Dreams, Follow Your Dreams Daytime Show, the Nighttime Spectacular Momentous, World of Frozen, and of course Marvel. The shareholders are already working on the Marvel expansion. Not only that, but we are focused on our 20th anniversary coming up, which will also have product within it. And the shareholders are in discussions for additional attractions between Marvel and the 20th anniversary.
Okay, good. Thank you. 林健鋒議員。
多謝主席。好高興見到迪士尼園啦，就開始轉虧為盈。咁過去幾年呢，實際上經營一個樂園呢，係一啲都唔容易嘅。疫情嘅關係啦，少人嚟咗香港嘅關係啦。咁我哋睇到呢，而家內地嘅旅客呢，一步一步呢就多啲嚟香港啦。咁亦都香港一啲政策呢， 對我哋香港一啲招商引資總部遷嚟香港多啲人嚟香港長住咁我覺得呢啲對樂園嗰個attendance 都有好大幫助嘅。嗱，我哋睇到舊年11月呢，呢個新樂園區 Frozen 開始咗之後呢，就旅客多咗好多。咁當然 Frozen 呢就係其中一個有佢吸引力嘅園區嚟啦。咁但係我哋都要小心啲，因為而家全球氣候暖化，千祈唔好保持唔到呢個溫度，溶解咗佢。咁但係響呢個 Frozen 嘅新區之餘呢，我哋睇到日本呢，除咗 Frozen 呢，佢仲有2個新區嘅，即係將會係開設嘅。咁我哋響香港跟住落嚟有啲咩計劃呢？嚟到保持呢個聲勢呢，或者保持呢個吸引力呢？我覺得即係我哋大家都想知道嘅。咁另外呢，就響保持嗰個質素同埋嗰個人手樂園嘅人手嗰方面呢，我覺得我哋都係關注嘅。因為香港而家呢，周圍都係搶人才，係嘛？我哋嗰啲會唔會俾人搶咗呢？新加坡搶緊我哋嗰啲去啦，咁會唔會短期內翻嚟呢？咁最後一方面呢，就係Michael 亦都介紹過啦，有關你哋回饋社會，譬如招呼一啲有需要嘅團體人士咁我哋好高興㗎。我哋希望呢，你響賺錢之後呢，會繼續做多一啲咁嘅嘢，因為香港實際上有好多有需要嘅人士係需要我哋去照顧嘅。咁可唔可以講一講個前景？個 Frozen 個園區之後，你哋有啲咩計劃？點樣保持呢個聲勢，繼續賺錢呢？
Mr. Moriarty.
Yes, Madam Chair. As it relates to our expansion, I think there's several levels that we approach. First of all, our special events throughout the year provide something new for guests really every day and every season. I think this summer's Pixar celebration is a fine example of that, leveraging the popular intellectual property coming out of Inside Out. And of course, you might have heard that Inside Out is the most popular animated film this summer. In fact, it reached $1 billion in box office in just 19 days, the fastest of any animated film. And we'll keep refreshing those special events. But again, as I mentioned earlier, we have a pretty significant expansion during COVID, which many of the guests have not been able, in our target markets, have not been able to see yet. And so that is also a powerful draw card for us right now. Also, I think we're very much excited about the Marvel expansion, what we're doing for the 20th anniversary, and a new attraction in between that we're in discussions with the shareholders about. I think all of those, put together really, provide a significant draw to Hong Kong, and I think really will help Hong Kong tourism for a number of years now. As it relates to manpower, very quickly, I think we're very proud to say that we are one of the most popular employers in Hong Kong, and we've been first in line in many hiring situations. That being said, the market is very challenging, and we're looking at a variety of ways to make sure we retain and hire the best talent here in Hong Kong.
江玉歡議員。
多謝主席。我好高興見到咧迪士尼嘅財政表現呢有一個好顯著嘅進步，亦都喺最近呢幾個月創出咗紀錄。咁迪士尼確實咧係為我哋嘅就業啦、稅收同埋我哋嘅香港嘅形象呢，我相信都係好有貢獻嘅。咁我有3條問題。第一咧，其實我哋頭先有幾位同事都有講過，可唔可以擴充啦咁嚇。咁我想請問一下咧，譬如可能局長可以即係俾啲啟示我哋，譬如喺空間上面有冇機會真係俾佢哋擴充呢？因為如果要做園區咧，都係要土地嘅。香港咧就得310公頃啦，迪士尼。如果比對最近嘅東京咧，都有494個公頃嘅地，咁會唔會真係有一啲空間俾佢哋第日再擴展呢？咁第二咧就係喺業績方面咧，我知道業績咧有好大嘅改善，但係仍然有一個淨嘅虧損。咁我想問下咧，譬如迪士尼方面，會唔會去到預計一下未來1年啦，嗰個會唔會真係會有顯著一啲淨嘅利潤呢？嗰個即係個 projection 會係點呢？ 最後一條問題就關於遊客嘅比例。嗱，我見到本地嘅遊客呢都係佔咗一個好大嘅比例，跟住就到外地嘅遊客，即係外邊嘅遊客啦。咁我想請問下局長，會有冇一啲加大宣傳嘅功夫或者嘅計劃會再做呢？增大嗰個即係外邊嘅遊客比例呢？唔該，主席。
多謝主席。我答一答即係第一同第三條啦。做嗰個宣傳咧，其實我哋同迪士尼係一齊做嘅，即係我哋喺旅發局嗰邊咧，其實亦都係即係喺對外宣傳，唔單止當內地啦，喺外地宣傳東南亞宣傳咧，其實都會同會宣傳迪士尼，即係譬如嗰陣時Frozen 出嘅時候，大家一齊合作啦。咁當然迪士尼自己本身亦都好熱衷喺佢嘅即係目標市場裏邊做好多宣傳嘅工作啦，咁呢個所以我哋會繼續做落去，吸引多啲即係內地又好或者外地又好，都係吸引佢哋多啲嚟呢度。空間擴充嗰度咧，其實喺迪士尼附近咧係有啲土地喺度嘅。咁當然即係到時究竟我哋係咪應該擴充或者應該點做咧？我哋當然第一會同迪士尼繼續去傾啦。第二亦都要睇翻成個土地用途究竟點樣係最適合啦，因為我哋都係當用到一啲土地嘅時候，我哋當然都係以即係成個香港嘅整體利益去考慮啦。咁但係目前嚟講咧，喺迪士尼附近係有啲土地喺度，係暫時未有一個好明顯或者已經劃咗嘅規劃嘅用途喺度。咁至於中間嗰條，我或者請樂園嗰邊答嚇。
Mr. Moriarty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll take the second question with respect to our confidence for 2024's fiscal results. As we discussed, first quarter this year was a record quarter for us, and our momentum, both in terms of revenue and profitability, continue to go on. I think this late in the fiscal year, I think we're confident in our position and how we're going to finish this year.
有冇跟進啊？江議員冇，
唔該主席。
咁跟住陳祖恒議員。
係，多謝主席。咁首先亦都係恭喜我哋迪士尼啦，今年我哋嘅財政嘅表現同埋叫做旅客等等嘅表現都做得非常之好。咁我哋唔需要再咁擔心啦。而家關於嗰個叫做財政嘅赤字，咁我諗正面啲去睇咧，就希望能夠可以去睇遠啲，睇翻我哋點樣去提謀嗰個發展啦。最近我哋都不斷喺度睇緊，就係我哋旅遊嘅發展嘅2.0，咁我都想睇遠少少。咁從迪士尼嘅發展我都明白，因為我哋香港整體嗰個地嘅一個問題咧，即係未必能夠做到咁大。但係我諗我關注嘅可能係關於譬如遊樂設施嘅數量啦。咁可能我哋未必塊地咁大，但係我哋可以 pack 得好啲。咁我都想聽聽，譬如話嚟緊呢幾年嘅增加嘅一個方向，有啲可能已經落實，有啲可能規劃，想聽聽迪士尼嗰邊或者局長嗰邊可以同我哋分享下。咁同埋人數嘅上限，即係我哋叫 capacity building 啦。咁人數上限嗰度一路上嘅時候，我都希望能夠可以隨住我哋預計我哋嘅旅客嘅增長嘅時候咧，亦都可以將我哋整體成個迪士尼做大佢。因為我都會覺得，如果我哋同其他迪士尼比，可能如果偏細嘅話，變咗可能會減低咗嗰個叫做旅客重複再翻嚟嘅一個原因。咁我都希望能夠多啲嘢玩，因為我哋亦都大家明白，我哋有一班可能係好中意米奇嘅，但係亦班後生啲嘅可能佢會中意Marvel， 有啲可能中意 Pixar 等等。咁我都想聽聽大家分享。咁第二個問題就係關於譬如話LA 啦，洛杉磯有個 Downtown Disney 㗎，咁會唔會我哋嘅發展嘅時候會唔會都會考慮或者參考下，能夠可以有啲多元化啲嘅旅遊咧？唔該。
即係我請樂園嗰邊答。
Mr. Moriarty.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. As it relates to expansion right now, the world of Frozen, clearly, is driving a lot of business and excitement in the market for us right now. And I think the timing plays perfectly into our plans for the 20th anniversary, where we will introduce new products, and we'll be sharing that with the market later in the fall. I think what comes after that is a new attraction that we're working on with the shareholders right now. Again, popular IP will be considered with this, and certainly relevant to guests in our market. And I think the final phase of this expansion that we're working on right now will be the Marvel expansion. We're very excited about it. It's large scale, and we'll complete the phase 1 expansion that started in 2017. All of these will add much needed capacity to our resort, expand its size, as well as I think contribute to overall tourism and the strategy of Hong Kong's Tourism 2.0. As it relates to Tourism 2.0, Hong Kong Disneyland is poised and ready to contribute in any way to the success of tourism in Hong Kong. Hong Kong's success is Hong Kong Disneyland's success. Your question with respect to a downtown Disney or a retail dining and entertainment expansion. Certainly merchandise and food and beverage expansion is a key component, or capacity is a key component to our guest experience in any of the parks around the world. And we're looking at market conditions and any opportunity to expand and provide capacity in that way.
冇嘢跟進啊，梁熙議員。
多謝主席。我哋見到呢個業績咧係好開心嘅，咁不過與此同時都必須要居安思危，因為我留意到一個好大嘅問題啦，就係我哋2023年嗰個構成呢係有65%都係本地客，而19年呢60%係外地客，即係境外客。咁即係今次嘅增長主要係來自咧我哋本地嘅客，咁係非常之危險，因為呢明年呢我哋將會迎嚟全世界最大嘅 Legoland 就喺一河之隔嘅前海。與此同時，明年都會迎嚟全世界最大嘅室內滑雪場，亦都係喺前海。咁我哋都係睇翻呢喺呢個東京佢哋嗰個迪士尼樂園呢，除咗係 Disneyland 呢，仲係 Disney Sea， 明年仲要係 Disney Sky， 即係海陸空。咁所以我哋外圍呢係迎嚟緊一個好大嘅一個衝擊同埋一個競爭，所以今年我哋好，但係明年我哋可以見得到呢，就係有好大嘅機會，我哋本地嘅客係會流失嘅原因係乜嘢呢？我哋過去北上去消費嘅，可能係成人啦，翻去即係買嘢啊，或者係食嘢啊，咁跟住落嚟可能就係帶埋小朋友上去主題樂園㗎啦。咁所以針對住呢啲 Legoland 或者係室內嘅滑雪場，我想問下Disney 係有啲咩應對嘅方法，同埋點評估佢哋會對我哋嘅園區帶來嘅衝擊呢？會有啲咩應對嘅方法呢？同埋我知道第2期我哋而家目前就係收翻嚟做我哋自己香港而家其他嘅嘢。咁若然我哋特區政府係俾翻迪士尼你去做嘅話，你會唔會喺未來呢幾年呢考慮去擴建呢？有冇考慮過呢？咁呢個係俾迪士尼去考慮嘅問題同埋回答嘅問題。另外想請問楊局長呢，會唔會考慮喺今年去接觸迪士尼，去問下佢哋嘅郵輪明年可唔可以增加一啲站點喺香港呢？唔該晒主席，多謝晒。
局長想唔想答郵輪先啊？
我答咗先啦。其實我哋已經接觸過㗎啦，即係簡單嚟講嚇。咁我哋會繼續討論啦。咁土地嗰個問題咧，其實第2期嘅土地政府已經收翻。咁當然到我哋將來決定個地方點用嘅時候，我哋會整體去考慮啦。正如我開頭所講，當然我哋即係都會考慮即係迪士尼嘅需要啦。但係我哋整體都係以成個香港即係點樣用笪地最好，對香港最好咧，作為一個依歸啊。
Mr. Moriarty, other attractions, how will they affect you?
Madam Chair, thank you. As it relates to local attendance, we're certainly grateful for the record local attendance that we've seen during COVID, but also during fiscal 2023. And I think there is going to be a natural balancing of local attendance, as I think you might expect. But as it relates to remaining relevant to local guests, I think the expansion discussions that we've had before certainly will play a bigger part in that. But moreover, it's providing more reasons for local guests to come throughout the year with our special events programs, as well as special promotions. One of the most popular with local guests, of course, is our Magic Access, which is our annual pass program, which really provides guests with a value proposition left to their own imaginations. It is really it's these things, the combination of new product expansion, special events, and ticketing promotions that will keep local guests coming back to Hong Kong Disneyland. I also see, a different behavior in terms of local guests' enthusiasm for all of our brands in each of the special events. Most recently we finished the season of Marvel Superheroes, which was very highly attended amongst local guests.
周文港議員。
唔該晒主席。其實咧要揾呢個迪士尼樂園嘅新增長點呢，頭先有議員提到嗰個旅客結構，我哋得出咗結果之後呢，其實都真係要加強翻一啲旅客人數比較少嘅地方嘅一個推廣咁樣樣。咁呢啲方面唔知你哋有啲咩計劃呢？另外一方面呢，其實周邊地區有啲新嘅唔同嘅樂園又好，或者旅遊設施都好，我覺得我哋又唔使太驚嘅。但係我哋真係要做好個一程多站，或者嗰個叫聯遊聯票啊嗰個問題。咁所以呢，就其實就都想知道當局又好，或者樂園又好，點樣同大嶼山附近嘅啲景區或者商家啊，包括呢個昂坪360啊、離島觀光啊，或者未來機場城嗰啲唔同嘅嗰啲購物嘅地點啊，做啲折扣啊，做到呢個聯遊聯票啊，所以咧可以令到嗰啲旅客咧可以留喺個大嶼山度2-3日去消費嘅，可唔可以都做啲功夫咧？或者譬如話喺澳門係咪啊，賭翻2手，然後港珠澳大橋，跟住就過嚟香港咁樣。贏咗錢又過嚟香港消費，咁幾好啊，係咪？咁所以呢啲方面，我哋係咪可以做啲功夫呢？咁樣樣。另外一方面呢，就第三就係出年呢係迪士尼樂園呢開園20週年，唔知當局呢有冇啲乜嘢計劃呢係可以即係俾翻啲香港市民嘅答謝翻佢哋，因為喺疫情3年呢都係主要谷本地啦，係咪？咁而家有錢賺啦，係咪都可以攞少少出嚟俾我哋香港市民都開心下呢？咁樣嚇，唔該主席。
Mr. Moriarty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I spent a little bit of time talking about what we're doing to attract local guests and retain local guests, but we are very much focused on driving tourism not only in mainland China but throughout the region. And in fact, as I mentioned earlier, we're the top paid attraction in Hong Kong in that regard, and really a major driver of tourism to Hong Kong, with 52% of our guests' primary reason to come to Hong Kong, being the visit to our resort. So we're going to continue to focus on that as well, increasing our mix of tourism, tourists from outside of Hong Kong, and bringing those guests here. As it relates to the 20th anniversary, our focus is really to celebrate Hong Kong Disneyland, and the accomplishments that we've had over those 20 years together. Certainly it will be a combination of new product for our guests to enjoy throughout the year. I think some of the product that we haven't had in the resort in a while. We'll also be looking very closely at suggestions like yours, including promotions for locals in other markets.
有冇嘢跟進周議員？冇啦，好多謝你。跟住陳少雄議員。
多謝主席。香港迪士尼2023年度嘅業績呢，按財政年度嘅就2022年10月開始，去到2023年9月。咁喺頭嘅5個月就因為疫情影響未完全通關啦。咁但係財政年度計嘅全年本地人入場人次係樂園開幕以來最高，超過410萬人次，而非本地人入場人次呢，復甦嘅情況亦較整體香港旅客訪港人次為佳。咁呢啲情況實在都值得鼓舞，希望個良好勢頭繼續落去。主席，我有幾個問題想問。第一呢，就係大家都比較關心迪士尼樂園個業績。咁而家今天我睇個業績呢，其實佢顯示咗2023年財政年度業績概要，實際上佢哋而家今天就係滯後咗8個月嘅。咁頭先迪士尼公司喺幻燈片度都即係講過一次又一次咧，就係話今年1至3月就好多嘅業績都創下歷史以嚟最佳嘅，創紀錄收入、創紀錄盈利、EBITDA、創紀錄淨利潤等等咁樣樣。主席啊，我其實都好想知道既然呢啲咁創紀錄嘅業績嘅話，其實係可唔可以提供直至到去你話去唔到5月啦，去到3月得唔得呢？咁 咁我估咧，佢哋嘅答案就係話：喂，呢啲會唔會係涉及到即係商業嘅機密？呢個不適當咁放出嚟。但係我認為，既然呢個業績報告係屬於咩呢？屬於叫做非香港迪士尼經審計嘅財務報表中嘅完整財務業績，我又睇唔到你即係唔係一個喺香港嘅唔係一個上市公司，佢翻去母公司做一個 consolidated account， 亦唔會睇到香港業務。但係呢個資料重要，就讓我哋有進一步嘅資料同埋有進一步信心，會唔會直至到3月或者甚至乎嚟到5月，係咪累計嘅業績係已經扭虧為盈呢？咁嗱，呢個係對於我哋嘅非常有，即係如果係得嘅話，就好有信心。咁我想了解下究竟咩原因底下你係唔可以提供呢個數字？哪怕係答一個答案，就係到而家喺你個財務報表入邊係咪已經扭虧為盈？我第二個問題呢，就係喺今年業績入邊見到迪士尼嘅吸客能力就十分之好，而且喺迪士尼提交嘅2023年財政年度業績概要中第6段呢，佢提到話香港迪士尼具備有利條件，成為香港獨特嘅旅遊目的地之一，推動旅遊業未來增長，係非常之好，鏗鏘有聲。咁我就想問下局長或同埋迪士尼，其實喺我哋一直以嚟想推動一啲香港盛事，或者推廣香港其他嘅旅遊嘅產品嘅時候，究竟係特區政府好似阿楊局長話齋係要同埋迪士尼一齊去做推廣嘅話，尤其是推廣旅遊盛事嘅時候，係點樣將呢一個迪士尼活動結合埋一齊去推廣呢？尤其是係咪會有一個迪士尼月？嗱，好似譬如海洋公園都有10月就 Halloween 等等咁。我覺得既然呢個香港嘅一個咁重要嘅一個資產同埋咁重要嘅一個品牌嘅話，係值得香港政府連同迪士尼加把勁去做呢一個推廣，吸引旅客來港嘅意欲。因為我哋唔想佢淨係嚟到香港就淨係參加迪士尼，而同時係一系列嘅旅遊產品相配套嘅。唔該，主席。
都係主席就第一個問題咧，以我所知咧。迪士尼因為係即係母公司係美國嘅上市公司啦，所以喺一啲資料嘅提供上邊係有啲限制嘅。咁但係呢個部分我陣間請樂園嗰邊去講啦。第二部分呢，就係喺個宣傳上邊，我哋當然會同迪士尼一齊合作啦。至於話會唔會同某一啲嘅城市或者某一啲即係特別推廣某一樣嘢呢？呢個我哋可以再作同迪士尼一齊去傾，睇下點樣一齊加強個工作嘅。
陳議員，你問題太多啦，嚇！
可以請迪士尼公司。
唔好啦，過咗啦，好多人等。你但係問短啲。田北辰議員。
主席，局長2223年呢總收入57億，係開業以嚟呢第3高，僅次於18同19年嘅60億。咁我都鬆一口氣嘅。我呢度呢恭喜政府同埋整個香港迪士尼團隊。咁扣除咗利息啊、稅項啊、折舊嘅盈利，即係 EBITDA 咧，錄得9.3億，亦都接近1819年嘅11.3億，就令到整體虧蝕呢就減至3.6億。我而家呢有一個遺憾同2個問題同你分享下嘅。我遺憾嘅呢，就喺香港迪士尼虧蝕3.6億之餘，交俾美國 Disney 嘅專利費。因為我哋簽咗個不公平條約，仲係高達4.3億。政府點解一直都唔同迪士尼講下數？例如我曾經早前一直提倡，我哋每年嘅專利支付可唔可以同本地嘅虧蝕抵消？第二樣嘢呢，就係一個問題，我擔心嘅呢，我就唔擔心地。我知道第一期呢，仲有30%地都未用嘅，唔使諗第二期嗰啲。我反而擔心就錢啊！2017年呢，政府就同美國注資咗100億，今日應該寫得七七八八啦，因為魔雪奇原來使咗40億。19至22年3年個 EBITDA 總共就虧蝕咗32億。咁今日呢，就流動資產就剩翻10億。咁將來任何嘅投資翻新興建，例如正話佢哋講 Marvel 要錢㗎，都要靠每年嘅 EBITDA 累積。咁我都希望每年嘅 EBITDA 都係10億以上啦。不過就咁樣加就未有耐，可以即係加嗰啲咁嘅其他啲項目啊，仲有好多維修啊，即係增值嗰啲啦。 咁我又唔知你係咪準備再嚟立法會，又再注資，又再泵多啲錢入去，係咪？我睇嗰啲 cash flow 咧，我就睇唔到你有冇另外一個 capital account 儲住原本嗰100億未使晒嘅，淨係而家睇咧，好似 EBITDA 32億同埋Frozen 40億已經使得七七八八啦。咁最後我想問問 Disney 嘅，你好難做預測，但係今年頭8個月你嘅總收入幾多？你一定有個數啦，總收入啫。咁你淨係話俾我聽，你今年頭8個月嘅總收入比起舊年同期嘅總收入係幾多？我一睇個差距咧，我就知道我可以估今年你係賺幾多。你賺係賺緊㗎啦，問題係賺幾多啫？咁我希望你俾到頭8個月實證嘅總收入，其他啲唔使你計時，淨係總收入啫。唔該。
咁啊，局長答先。
我答先啦。第一個問題，我唔覺得我哋同迪士尼簽嗰個係一個所謂即係阿議員所謂嘅不平等條約啦。嗰陣時係大家心甘情願，亦都係攞個上嚟立法會度去討論啲細節嘅。咁所以嗰陣時就係大家心甘情願簽落嘅合約。而家我哋以一個合約精神，我哋就要跟足嚟。係咪
千秋萬世冇得改嘅？
我講咗俾你聽嗰個睇法嚇，即係當然每一年嘅賺蝕有好多原因啦嚇，咁所以唔喺呢度再詳細去講。第二個問題咧就係嗰個成本，我哋真係同迪士尼咧係夾份大約109億咧，係做一系列嘅擴展嘅計劃。咁而家我哋大約使咗喺嗰100億度，使咗60億度。咁60億度，但係未使嗰啲錢咧，其實我哋未俾樂園嘅。咁所以咧，到佢有計劃嘅時候，要擴展嘅時候，需要我哋喺嗰原先嗰109億政府嗰部分咧，我哋係到時係會攞出嚟嘅。第三部分我請來源。
過咗鐘啦因為我唔俾得陳議員答，我都唔俾得田議員答啊！再撳掣啦嚇，想問就容海恩議員。
唔該，主席。我都好開心嘅，見到迪士尼而家嘅成績，尤其是響人數啦，同埋個收入上面咧係有所提升咧，亦都係有靠一隊專業嘅團隊啦，同埋領導層咧去真係好有心、好落力咁樣去做好。亦都見到入邊加咗好多新嘅元素啦，無論響餐飲嘅經驗啦，一啲新嘅園區咧，包括係魔雪奇緣啦等等，其實都係帶嚟一啲俾到市民一啲新嘅體驗。亦都知道咧，而家嘅旅客嘅成分咧，即係雖然多數係本地市民，但我哋都希望咧點樣去將園區係打造成為一個俾到旅客係多日即係嚟到香港係幾日嘅經驗。亦都即係見到咧，即係響唔同嘅報道，亦都有講無論係東京迪士尼同埋香港迪士尼，其實都有好大嘅比較。即係香港係完全完勝到東京迪士尼，雖然咧地方比較細，但係咧所有細緻位咧，亦都係做得好好，亦都好有溫度啦，好有熱情啦。咁所以呢個亦都係我覺得係香港迪士尼嘅一個特點，即係我哋點樣去同其他地方有一個競爭嘅一個特點。輪候時間短啊，呢啲其實都係我哋優勝嘅地方。當然頭先有議員亦都係關心會唔會係可以做擴充啦，或者係響其他地區有迪士尼嘅蹤跡啦。咁我覺得呢個亦都係可以考慮嘅，即係點樣去將成個嘅好嘅經驗係擴展出去。但係我想問嘅問題係咧，點樣可以令到去迪士尼嘅旅客咧係留多香港幾日？即係俾到佢哋嚟香港多幾日嘅經驗。當然我知道即係局方喺呢方面亦都係落好多功夫啦。即係點無論我哋深度遊，無論係綠色遊，當然我哋園區遊其實都係一個諗法。咁我想先問局長啦，喺呢方面點樣去同迪士尼有一個合作，令到嚟嘅旅客咧，訪港旅客咧係可以留多香港幾日，令到佢哋係多啲有唔同嘅經驗。當然喺迪士尼入邊有消費梗係好嘅，但我哋都希望將所有嘅經濟效益係可以擴展開去。第二咧喺嚟緊嗰方面咧，即係無論而家頭先聽到啦，園區亦都會擴展 ，Marvel 嗰方面又有擴展。咁我想聽翻回獻市民嗰方面，即係無論係俾基層市民或者係少數族裔嘅市民，點樣去俾佢哋有其他嘅一啲嘅福利啊，或者係回獻社會一方面，可唔可以再講多少少？唔該，主席。
多謝主席。就第一個問題等我答咧，因為主要佢講緊譬如點樣留多啲旅客多過一日咧。當然喺樂園度佢嘅裏邊嘅活動其實你係可以多過一日嘅。咁但係因為佢自己本身亦都有酒店，亦都有可能有好多唔同 俾佢夜晚嘅活動等都有。咁但係總體嚟講咧，我哋會同樂園咧串連一啲其他嘅活動，包括咗即係譬如我哋有綠色遊啦，我哋亦都有香港亦都有好多文化歷史嘅背景啦。我哋譬如可以出西九龍西九文化區啦，等等。其實我哋點樣喺個宣傳上邊點樣將迪士尼同我哋其他嘅活動串連埋一齊咧？呢個我哋一路以嚟都有做，嚟緊我哋會做得更加多添。尤其是借助即係迪士尼嘅吸引力咧，點樣可以令到吸引去完迪士尼嘅人都會留多一兩日去我哋香港其他景點呢方面，我哋都會去做。問題嘅第二部分，我交俾樂園去講講。
Mr. Moriarty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we look at our guest today, our guest mix as of right now is not what we saw during fiscal 2003. In fact, our non-local guests is a much higher percentage than we've seen before. And typically that behavior is that they do stay at Hong Kong Disneyland on average more than one day. And another typical behavior is after their stay with us, whether in the hotel or visiting the park, they do spend multiple days in Hong Kong. And I think that comes, one, with the attractiveness of Hong Kong overall, but also our cooperation with the tourism board and various promotions that they have, including mega events. As it relates to giving back, if I may, we are very dedicated and focused on giving back to the community, not just the 100,000 tickets that we've given away, but our partnership with Make-A-Wish. We work with the Federation of Youth, ethnic minority groups, as well as other youth groups here in Hong Kong. Thank you.
陸頌雄議員。
主席，首先即係讚一讚迪士尼過去都有吸納嘅本會嘅一啲意見嘅，包括咧喺舊年咧，我喺呢度都有提出迪士尼可唔可以加啲即係本地嘅元素咧？咁我哋最近都收到有啲紀念品咧，迪士尼都頗有即係本地特色嘅。我希望喺呢一方面咧繼續努力去做啦。咁當然啦，今年嗰個遊客都係創新高嘅，人均消費係創新高。EBITDA 咧，終於係有錢剩啦。雖然咧嗰個淨虧損咧仍然有3.5億，咁但係都係一個大幅嘅改善嚟嘅。但係咧都有個幸福嘅煩惱嘅，主席。人多入場咧，最近我個仔咧上個星期咧就同我講佢即係就嚟放暑假啦，有半日假去迪士尼啦下晝。好快就翻屋企，我問佢做乜咁快翻屋企啊？我翻工嘅時候我話好多人啊，多人到排好耐都冇嘢玩啊咁樣。幸福嘅煩惱咧就係即係睇下迪士尼咧，即係你遊客咁多咧，會唔會喺個空間同埋嗰個人潮嘅管理咧有啲更加優化嘅措施？當然啦，研究下即係長遠去研究會唔會擴大個園區咧，但係短期之內喺嗰個即係遊人嘅體驗嗰方面，因為如果人太多咧，你俾人講你幾次，喂太多人咧，下次唔好去啦，即係排到好鬼耐都冇嘢玩嘅，咁你咧下一水咧就可能冇咁多人㗎啦。另外一個咧就係嗰個遊客嘅比例咧都係偏少嘅，得1/3係遊客，2/3咧係本地人。點樣做好咧？即係遊客嘅呢方面嘅宣傳咧，我覺得都係要增加啲努力。點樣鼓勵即係園區嘅管理層即係加強個努力或者動多啲心思腦筋嗰方面呢？迪士尼呢就係香港迪士尼就合營公司啦，就係政府有52管權嘅。但係呢，由迪士尼管理公司即係美國直屬嘅去管理，會收取管理費同埋專利費嘅。頭先田議員問過呢，就話即係專利費呢就好難調啦，因為合約精神。個管理費嗰方面呢，有冇得斟酌嘅空間呢？包括係喺現有嘅協議之下，有冇斟酌空間，或者係將來有冇一個檢討協議嘅時間或者係機制？將佢個管理費甚至乎管理層嘅薪酬花紅同嗰個樂園嘅表現係掛鈎。令到咧樂園咧有更加積極嘅措施咧去吸引遊客或者係改善嗰個營收呢方面睇下政府同埋樂園嗰方面有啲咩回應應該。
邊位答？
主席，或者我講一講個管理費咧，即係根據我哋同即係個安排咧，佢嗰個管理費咧係同個 EBITDA 係有一個比例嘅。所以喺一啲即係譬如係冇一個正數嘅時候咧，佢嗰個管理費其實係可變動嗰部分係冇嘅，唔變動嗰個 part 就仲要俾 咁但係即係佢有好大橛，其實係跟嗰個 EBITDA，即係同佢嗰個有一個規矩喺度。另外仲有冇？有關於我或者講少少嗰個人數，即係話好多議員都講咧，即係話2023年咧嗰個旅客即係本地客同非本地客嗰個比例咧，就本地客好似多過非本地客好多。其實呢個就係如果我哋分開上半年同下半年睇咧，正話喺嗰個 slide 度都有一張咧。其實下半年咧，我哋嗰個非本地客咧，其實已經超過一半，翻去55%。本地客45%，咁所以其實你見到咧，因為一通咗關之後咧，其實已經見到翻去即係喺疫情之前接近嗰個狀態。咁所以呢個似乎就係證明咗咧，喺嚟緊咧，我哋似乎都應該係睇到一個比較接近啲
人流管理嘅方面，可唔可以？
人流管理嘅方面，我就請樂園嗰度講一講。
又夠鐘啦。等下一個想問啊，再撳掣啦，因為我要公平啲，所有人呢一視同仁啊。嚴剛議員都等咗好耐啦，其餘
好多謝主席。我本人呢對於 Disney 嘅呢2年嘅表現呢係充分肯定嘅。咁呢啱啱局長都提過嗰個本地嘅遊客呢，舊年三高啦，410萬，咁啊佔咗64%啦。咁呢，我第一個問題咧問一問呢，如果係收入方面嘅佔比係幾多？即係本地嘅410萬嘅收入呢，佔咗成體收入嘅幾多？係咪都係相若嘅60幾咧嚇？第二個問題呢係除咗吸引咧內地遊客，咁咧東南亞洲國家嘅遊客都係重要嘅客運地啦嚇。咁咧境外遊客咧嚟香港最大嘅成本應該都係機飛㗎啦，機票。咁咧請問園區咧如何加大同航空公司嘅合作，能夠推出咧 package 嘅優惠咧，吸引更多嘅遊客嚟 Disney。咁咧其中咧我哋國泰航空可唔可以發揮更大嘅作用咧？作為東主嘅嗰個航空公司嘅作用。咁咧包括咧多啲推動嗰個多啲中轉客嚟香港咧園區旅遊咧。唔該。
或者我請樂園。
Mr. Moriarty.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. As it relates to our overall mix, certainly we are grateful for the very strong local business, but our focus really is about bringing tourists into Hong Kong, especially during those other holiday periods. When we look at our the chart that we showed earlier, where we're outpacing the overall tourism market here in Hong Kong, really what that means is that the promotional efforts that we've had in Southeast Asia and in mainland China are driving a higher penetration to Hong Kong Disneyland than we've seen in the past. That is to say that our promotional efforts in Southeast Asia are relatively more effective than we have been historically, which is, I think, a sign of the strong effort that we've had there. When we look at partnerships with airlines, Cathay Pacific as one example, we're really focused on multi-channel strategy, including airlines, to tap into any market opportunity to bring guests into Hong Kong. When we are, I think the last question that you had was around the overall mix of our revenue. I think one of the things that we have seen is that overall guest spending has gone up. It's gone up relatively equally to what we have seen historically as we've introduced new pricing tiers, but also we've seen increases in merchandise and food and beverage sales, as well as introducing new product lines like Disney's Premier Access, a pay-for-privilege product, which is very popular with tourists. And when we add all of these things together, our overall value for money scores with our guests remains very high, 90%, but we've also seen increases in our overall guest satisfaction as well. And while it is a happy problem that we're crowded on days, we're also working very hard on making sure that we manage seasonality with other promotions like our Magic Access, which makes it more accessible, especially to local guests, as well as guests from Shenzhen or the Greater Bay Area to come during shoulder periods where it might not be as busy. Thank you.
有冇跟進？冇跟進。
冇。
哦，OK。咁啊，下一位姚柏良議員。
多謝主席。主席，我都係非常之高興睇到迪士尼有咁好嘅業績，咁啊，亦都係即係為香港嘅旅遊業即係吸引旅客嚟香港咧，發揮咗一定嘅作用。咁啊我都有幾個問題想問嘅，其實就即係喺嗰個園區裏邊咧，即係入園嘅客人，咁啊有幾多 percent 係不過夜嘅？咁有幾多 percent 係有過夜嘅？我想了解下呢方面，因為過夜嘅當然有幾多係住喺迪士尼入邊，咁大家會知道啦。咁就唔知有冇掌握到即係唔過夜嘅旅客嘅比例有幾多？咁呢度我想了解少少數據嘅啫。咁但係我自己都睇到即係迪士尼即係成功嘅經驗咧，其實我都睇到係一個即係絕對係一個可以話喺個應變求變同埋產品創新嗰方面，我覺得係呢個係做得相當之好嘅。咁尤其是係喺嗰個疫情期間啦，即係推出呢個迪士尼嘅星夢光影之旅咧，我成日都講，即係成功將客人咧留喺園裏邊嘅時間延長咗，同埋咧即係帶動埋夜間嘅餐飲，睇埋個 show 先至離場。咁其實即係等於係我哋講緊係將迪士尼嘅夜經濟係帶動咗。咁啊呢方面我都想問下局長咧，其實呢個嘅星夢光影之旅咧，咁其實政府會唔會考慮下，即係會唔會有啲藉口值得參考嘅地方？我哋而家要打造嗰個即係維港嘅幻彩詠香江呢個新版本嘅具吸引力嘅。咁呢方面係咪會唔會啲可以值得借鏡嘅地方？咁另外嚟講咧，睇到其實迪士尼咧喺嗰個文體類嘅融合嗰方面咧，都做咗啲實踐嘅。咁我覺得都非常之成功嘅。好似呢個嘅管弦樂團啦、芭蕾舞蹈團啦，我哋香港嘅本地嘅著名嘅呢個文化嘅 IP 嚟嘅，咁亦都喺園裏邊有好好嘅合作，同時間亦都係將一個園區入邊嘅跑步嘅運動咧，亦都結合埋落去。咁其實我覺得呢方面可以能夠再加強做多啲，去做一個引領示範嘅作用，希望能夠推動我哋香港個文體類嘅融合，可以能夠即係加速發展。同時嚟講，我亦都係希望非常之期望咧，其實香港迪士尼閃耀旅遊業呢個功能咧，可以點樣真係可以進一步發揮咧？頭先我哋好多議員都講緊，即係嗱迪士尼有好嘅業績，我哋當然好高興。但係點樣利用好香港呢個迪士尼呢張咁亮麗嘅名片，去帶動到我哋整體旅遊業嘅復甦，以至到周邊大嶼山又好，或者我哋其他市區嘅一啲其他嘅景點啊，或者唔同嘅旅遊產業鏈裏邊嘅唔同嘅組合，都能夠受惠到呢個即係吸引旅客嚟呢方面，可能夠令到佢哋同時間有唔同嘅產品都能夠相互帶動，令到大家係整體能夠得益，整體能夠發揮到個效應。唔該主席。
好多問題，暫停一停，因為我哋呢個會應該係5:45完嘅，咁我而家將時間延長15分鐘到6點嚇。咁啊，邊位答先？局長。
主席，我好快講一句就係我哋幻彩詠香江啦，我哋會考慮周邊即係所有地方我哋嘅成功經驗去諗嘅，其餘我交俾樂園嗰邊回答。
OK， 我會補翻時間你，姚議員。Mr. Moriarty。
Madam Chair, according to the Hong Kong Tourism Board, we've seen an increase in the percentage of overnight vacation arrivals into Hong Kong as compared to 2018 levels, versus the same-day arrivals. We're seeing a similar phenomena there among our guests being overnight vacation arrivals. When we look at the hotels, we see a lot of similar behavior there. Guests are coming overnight and staying with us. Obviously, the majority of our hotel guests are from outside of Hong Kong right now, which is very different than during COVID.
Please continue. I can give you a few more minutes.
Okay, thank you. If I could get a clarification on the last question, it was the last question that you had?
Actually, I think the Secretary.
I'm sorry. As it relates to working with people on Lantau, sorry. I think like Hong Kong, we have a lot of good materials, and Disney has a global brand that will help further put Hong Kong on the world's map. I think together we can work at really helping better Hong Kong tourism, We need to continue to highlight the strategic benefits of Hong Kong Disneyland being an international brand in an international city like Hong Kong. I think that will help attract families to Hong Kong, as well as a lot of good things to attract them, like the other attractions on Lantau as well.
Thank you, thank you. 李維宏議員。
多謝主席。今日聽到迪士尼樂園度假區最新嘅進展報告咧，都好多正面嘅信息啦。咁無論係嗰個樂園總入場人次、賓客嘅人均消費都上升啦，咁總收入亦都係上升。咁2023年整體有呢個盈利都係好好嘅。咁有幾個跟進問題想了解多少少啦。咁第一就係討論文件入邊有提及到迪士尼嗰個香港迪士尼嗰個淨融資支出咧，喺由2022年財政年度嘅3300萬元咧，急增至到8200萬港元嘅，咁嗰個增幅都達到1.5倍。咁所以呢方面想都知道，主要係因為嗰個利率嗰個上升所致啦。所以未來咧想聽少少從財政嘅角度咧，香港迪士尼有冇啲咩措施咧去控制呢個淨融資支出嘅增加？咁隨着嗰個利率而家相對嚟講比較高企嘅情況。咁第二個問題都想問咧，我都有聽過一啲意見，就我知道迪士尼本身都有好多唔同嘅飛可以買嘅，譬如一啲年飛啊，或者係一次性嘅。咁亦都有啲意見認為，如果譬如話我唔知道每一日嗰個唔同時段嗰個容納到幾多人啦，但係會唔會有一啲類型嘅飛咧，係譬如話係針對一啲夜晚嚟嘅，或者唔同時段。咁有啲人可能如果夜晚唔係咁忙嘅，佢哋可以嚟食飯咁玩一陣，咁睇埋煙花，咁變咗啲票價又可以有少少折扣咧，咁你其實又可以揾到多少少即係另外一種嘅旅客啊，或者另外一種人嚟參加。咁第三同埋最後一條問題咧，就即係好多啲議員都有關注關於呢個擴建同埋發展嘅計劃啦。咁具體少少啦，咁我都係想了解下，即係為咗進一步去增加呢個香港迪士尼嗰個樂園嘅設施咧，即係提升呢個吸引力，政府會唔會考慮咧喺將呢個竹篙灣興建呢個方艙醫院嗰個用地啊，即係重新去同香港迪士尼咧商議用作為一個新一期嗰個擴建？所以呢3條問題，唔該晒。
局長答先啦。
土地正話都講咗㗎啦，我哋都係要考慮整體嘅利益啦。當然，即係迪士尼對成個香港經濟嘅貢獻啦，同埋即係對旅遊業嘅貢獻，呢個我哋一定會考慮嘅。咁所以土地嗰度我哋會做一個長遠嘅考慮咧。暫時即係冇乜嘢可以暫時喺度補充，其餘嘅時間我交俾樂園去答嚇。
Mr. Moriarty.
Madam Chair. As it relates to the increase in the financing expenses, certainly interest rates played a big role in that. Very proud to say that the revolver facility has been completely paid off in December, which will result in lower financing expenses going forward. As it relates to capacity limits, we're always focused on making sure that we have a great guest experience for all of our guests. We have several products, especially for school groups that are half-day in nature that help do this as well. And we'll certainly take your advice under consideration. Thank you.
有冇跟進？
冇其他跟進。
Okay. 跟住周浩鼎議員。
Thank you. I think I'm very impressed by your performance this year, and I think you did quite well on the penetration rate as to the tourists. But I'm quite concerned about the future competition with Shenzhen, because in light of the fierce competition, the new entertainment facilities to be built in Shenzhen, to be opened in Shanghai, what is the plan for Disneyland on any expansion plan, any new rides? I think you need this sort of stuff to attract tourists, especially international visitors. So this is my opinion. I do know that you have already provided your answer, but I think I need to assert this sort of opinion because I'm very much concerned about the fierce competition, the upcoming fierce competition. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Mr. Moriarty.
So as we look at the attractions that we've added in the past few years, when no one else was investing in attractions, frankly around the world, popular intellectual property, drawing with international appeal, drawing people to Hong Kong, Moana, Marvel. The new Castle of Magical Dreams and the nighttime show has really been a game changer for us, leveraging all the popular IP. But the world of Frozen as the number one Disney brand in Asia and all of our key markets has certainly made a big difference. And so those international brands, the popularity in all of our key markets are designed for one thing, bringing people into Hong Kong. And as you look at the lineup that we have going forward, clearly those elements are going to be embedded into our 20th anniversary celebration and everything that we do within that, really inviting people to Hong Kong Disneyland for the first time. As we look at the Marvel expansion, Marvel has global appeal, continued investment and support not only with Disney Plus in our key markets, but also theatrically is going to provide a lot of international appeal, drawing people in. And also, as I mentioned earlier, we're working on an attraction in between the 20th anniversary and Marvel, again, designed to bring tourists into Hong Kong. When you look at our competition, whether it's Shenzhen or elsewhere, it's hard to say that anyone has a lineup quite as strong as Hong Kong Disneyland against the competition in terms of the product. And it's important to remember that all of the things that we have open today, a lot of our key markets, the guests haven't even visited Hong Kong yet, so it's going to be brand new for them as well. I'm very confident in the lineup that we have, and I hope that that people feel like they should have confidence in it too, as a key driver to tourism in Hong Kong over the next few years.
冇跟進，好啦。跟住我有條比較簡單問題問下局長嘅啫。喺迪士尼隔離嗰60公頃地咧，即係我知道迪士尼園嗰個 right of first refusal 啊，即係優先使用權咧個時限已經過咗啦，所以個土地就屬於政府啦。咁但係好似你哋同迪士尼、港府同迪士尼嘅協議咧都有啲限制嘅，即係佢隔離起嘅嘢咧就要配合園景嘅嚇。咁係啲乜嘢可以喺嗰度起咧？你認為嚇？會將來點樣咧？會點限制你嗰個土地使用咧？有咩諗法咧？政府嚟㗎？
多謝主席，就或者陣間睇下專員可唔可以答到嗰個地嗰個實際可以做到啲乜，但係的確有個限制嘅。整體嗰個背後嗰個原則咧，都係唔會即係影響到成個樂園佢嗰個周圍作為一個樂園嗰個氣氛，即係譬如好簡單，唔會起好多高樓大廈喺側邊遮住佢個景觀嗰類。咁容許啲乜嘢可以做咧？如果我呢度同事未必答到我會後補充翻俾大家嚇。
跟住我想問啊 ，Mr. Moriarty 咧就小紅書咧就成日每日都有嘅，就話港迪嘅慘狀，即係話好多人排隊咁啊，佢哋就話港迪比上迪好嘅嚇。點解咧？你哋認為你哋嘅成功要素係乜嘢咧？即係內地人一般認為港迪好過上迪嘅。邊位可以答？
或者我請樂園。
Madam Chair, I think those questions are best left for the guest. I think Hong Kong Disneyland has a unique position in place and is a uniquely different experience than Shanghai, which is also a very fine place to visit. It is very interesting now as we see social media shaping opinions in the market. That is an important piece of how we get our message out there. It is flattering to get feedback like that, and I know that Shanghai gets feedback as positive feedback as well. As it relates to our uniqueness, I think that, as I mentioned earlier, Hong Kong Disneyland has a very special place in Hong Kong in demonstrating its international flavor and international appeal to consumers who want that, which is different than, frankly, any other Disney park in the world. I think we are uniquely Hong Kong in that way, and I think we can help drive that perception among tourists into Hong Kong, as well as being extremely relevant to family guests throughout the year.
Okay, thank you. You are very protective of Shanghai Disneyland. 咁我冇嘢問咧，而家有2位議員咧係第2次提問嘅，咁我哋有足夠時間。田議員同陳紹雄議員每人3分鐘。
主席，好多謝你。 我都係重複翻個3個問題啦。今日呢嗰個專利費呢，就係同總收入硬掘掛鈎嘅，管理費呢，就同 EBITDA 硬掘掛鈎嘅。咁嗰兩樣嘢呢，都唔可以確保我哋整體會唔會有盈利，因為仲要減我哋嗰啲投資就產生嗰啲折舊啊咁。咁我哋一路投資落去，個折舊就一路會高企不下。咁所以我之前就問呢個係咪硬掘嘅掛鈎，係咪千秋萬世都冇得去傾？因為港鐵加價，政府都5年檢討一次啦。我哋而家20年咯喎，20年都唔可以攞出嚟傾。我想了解下係咪冇得傾嘅？永遠都係咁噶啦。呢個第一個問題啫。第二個問題呢，我好高興聽到你哋話，原來嗰100億呢未使晒嘅，使咗一橛嘅啫，仲有40億仲可以抌落去 Marvel 啊、expansion 啊咁樣，咁就唔係反映喺個流動資產嗰個10億嗰度。咁我希望第日啲文件可以，即係對我嚟講嗰樣嘢係重中之重。希望你哋即係聽一聽。第3呢，就 Mr. Moriarty，the first 8 months of total gate receipt, total income, certainly you will have that. Can you just share with me the first 8 months total revenue versus last year's the first 8 months? Surely you can share that, right? 3個啫。
係，局長。
主席，我或者請樂園答先啦，因為第一輪我答晒一時間，我請樂園答先。
好啊 ，Mr. Moriarty。
Madam Chair, as I mentioned earlier, Q1 of 2024 was a record quarter for us of all time, revenue, EBITDA, and profit. As it relates to information going beyond that, I'm not able to share that right now, but I look forward to sharing that with the panel in our next session.
Okay, you can't even share that. Okay.
主席，或者我講一講，即係有關於佢嗰個專利費同埋嗰個管理費。管理費其實改過嘅，即係喺2009年嘅時候，我哋曾經作過一啲調整，而家咧就變咗完全跟嗰個 EBITDA 係掛鈎嘅，即係話如果佢EBITDA 係冇，即係一個負數嘅時候，咁就唔會有一個管理費。咁所以唔會話唔改得。不過咧喺個專利費度咧，的確大家要睇得到咧，即係樂園本身嗰個強項其實就喺個 IP 度，亦都係點樣可以面對其他地方嘅競爭嘅時候。你正話好多議員提過深圳嚟緊好多唔同嘅建設嘅時候，嗰個 IP 本身就係佢一個強項。咁所以作為一個即係保障咧，我覺得喺嗰個專利費度，我哋其實真係應該要俾嚇。
夠鐘啦，跟住就陳紹雄議員3分鐘。
多謝主席。主席，我都係跟進翻頭先我問嘅問題未答嘅，就可否迪士尼公司提供2023年10月至2024年3月嘅業績概要呢？咁頭先迪士尼公司就話而家冇資料喺度，就話係等下一個 panel 先至提供啦。咁其實係可唔可以而家講冇資料冇問題啦？就會後可唔可以提供下呢？因為我想關心嘅地方就係究竟即係喺而家你嘅預估未來嘅業績底下呢，就嗰個即係咪有機會扭虧為盈？我第二個問題想問呢，就係迪士尼公司喺2023年財政年度初，即係2022年10月，就曾經向華特迪士尼公司一間附屬公司提取18億港元嘅信貸款項，並喺2023年12月全數償還。我想了解下就有關貸款嘅利息支出係幾多啫？兩個問題唔該。
請迪士尼公司。
Mr. Moriarty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As it relates to our overall profit position right now, I think, as I mentioned earlier, we were profitable in calendar 2023, and we had a record quarter in Q1, and that momentum and profitability continues. So I'm very optimistic about our profitability, going forward, especially this late in the year. And certainly look forward to sharing those results with the panel in next year's session. As we look at the interest rate for the revolving credit facility, it's based on it's a floating plus fixed basis. It's HIBOR plus 125 basis points, which is lower, in fact, than the other debt that we have, the other shareholder loan that we have on the balance sheet for the hotel.
Could you provide the supplementary information after this panel meeting on paper? Is it possible? And if it is not, what's the reason why?
The
for the profit, I mean, yeah.
On the profit?
EBITDA profit as well as the net profit that you claim that you have record high in the first quarter. So I understand that you don't have the information in hand. That I understand. But could you provide this supplementary information later?
I think, Madam Chair, I think that's a question that we would have to follow up with Secretary.
Okay. All right.
OK。
It's a follow-up.
冇第啲問題。OK。多謝晒。
主席啊，或者答以我所知咧，因為美國上市公司嘅問題咧，呢啲數字我哋應該係唔會，即係喺佢正式公佈之前咧，我哋係唔適宜或者係唔可以將佢 disclose 嘅嚇。
我明白，如果假如佢有啲叫中期業績報告嘅話，假如佢出咗，你咪可以提出啲。
我應承議員，如果有一啲公開資料係做得到嘅，我哋會俾議員。
好。
OK。
主席啊，可唔可以嘥多少少時間講一講嗰個土地限制嗰個？我哋揾到少少資料。好快。
主席，其實好簡單，個土地限制個限制性契約裏面呢，定明呢有關嘅用途只係商業、休憩、體育同埋文化嘅用途，即係話愛嚟起住宅樓宇啊，呢啲就唔可以。咁我哋會後可以俾個詳細啲嘅表嘅嚇。
好嘅，多謝你。多謝局長。Thank you, Mr. Moriarty. I join my colleagues in congratulating Hong Kong Disney for the stellar performance. Keep up the good work.
多謝。
下次會